MZTV.
The question today is, and really this has been the question almost every day, is will I be able to get through the list of unscriptural phrases sent to us by our fellow believer, Gabriel Alexander? On Friday, I made it through. How many did I make it? One? Oh yeah, one. I only got one. Yeah, I went a little crazy on worship songs. No, worship music. Yeah, I went a little crazy. I made some people upset too. A few people. I'm going to explain myself on that here in a little bit. Those people who are upset by me completely trashing worship music. Apparently, some of you like worship music, okay? But I'm going to explain everything. You'll see. You'll see. But before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, I need to tell you that I have a link down here from yesterday's Rodney Paris Martin Zender special. You've got to watch this one. If you haven't done it already, I'm linking it. It's called Is Salvation Free or Isn't It? I recorded this in April 1995. Yeah, that's right. 27 years ago. I think that's how that works out. In Melbourne, Florida. At a hotel conference room. Across from a Shoney's restaurant. This is an important message. Because this gets right to the crux of the problem of is salvation free or isn't it? That's why I titled it that. See? I'm thinking, always thinking. Because Christians always confuse absolute salvation with relative salvation. In other words, what came first, belief or salvation? This is the critical question. If belief comes first, then salvation, then belief becomes a work that gets you saved. And therefore, the Christian talk about, it's not by works, is proven to be a lie. That's the way they see it. But the truth is, salvation came first, then belief. And I prove it. Now, I prove it in the video that you're going to watch again if you've already seen it. And for the first time, if you haven't seen it yet, linked down here. The truth is that salvation came first. And I have two verses, one from Ephesians and one from Acts. And I show you how people get the idea. I can see where people get the idea that belief is the quarter that pops out the gumball of salvation. But ladies and gentlemen, the gumball of salvation already covers everyone. It's a matter of coming to know it. And no one can deny the scriptural facts that I point out in this video. In Rodney Paris, he put the concordant Greek text. When I'm explaining it, he actually puts in a close-up of the concordant Greek text, and he shows you the nuance. He shows you the symbols of the verb forms of one verse in Acts, one verse in Ephesians that seem to contradict each other as far as which came first, belief or salvation. You're going to love it. Send it to your relatives, your coworkers, and your soon-to-be ex-friends. No, but I'm kind of joking there. Not really, but this information is a difference, really, between Aonian life and Aonian death. It is. No, I'm not making too much of it. That's it. Remember, sound words. A pattern of sound words. Why is it so important to Paul? Because it's the difference between Aonian life and Aonian death. A false expression that becomes popularized leads people away from the truth, therefore away from Aonian life. A sound word or a sound phrase resulting from properly translated scripture, when believed, leads one to Aonian life. We keep thinking, well, why can't these Christians just believe? I know God can only give belief. I'm speaking relatively now. Well, because they're all camped around unscriptural phrases, false expressions, hypocritical sayings. So, I mean it. Send this around. Be an evangelist. I made the thing 27 years ago. It's as great today as it ever was. Rodney Paris took it and he put some spectacular video to it, brings it alive, puts video and text frames, covers every kind of learner, audio learner, video learner, one who learns by reading. What do you call that? A reading learner? A word learner? I don't know, but we got all the bases covered. And as an extra bonus, the video begins with a conversation, a phone call that I received. No, yeah, you can listen to it on the thing. It's real. Phone call I received from Elmer Fudd. He's the one that asked the question, and that's what launched me on the whole thing. Elmer Fudd wanted to know, is salvation free or isn't it? Martin Zend, I gotta know. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can finish the list of unscriptural phrases. Let's see if I can get more than one done. Oh, I said I was going to make it up to the people who were ticked off at me for trashing all worship music. Okay, if you listen carefully, I trashed the worship music as it is sung by Christians. Because what bothers me more than anything is hypocrisy. And I know that these songs may be great. Songs may have great lyrics. Might be a great tune, might even be catchy. So if one of you sang it, if one of you who were upset at me, if you sang it, I would love it. Sing me a worship song. Send it to me. You who believe. Then I know that it's real. Then I know that you really believe it because it's you. You're a believer. Sing me a song, you're a believer now. Sing me a song tonight. As long as the Christians aren't singing it, then I'll be feeling all right. Yeah, I can't stand the Christians singing it. That's what I can't stand. I can't get over the fact that they believe all the opposite stuff and they're singing something that might be true. There's some truth in those worship songs. There's truth in it. I can dig the truth, just can't dig the messenger. Sorry, I can't. And if you want to make me happy, I know many of you, God bless you, you've sent me these Christian songs, these nice quiet little tunes. No, please, send me some crazy rock and roll song. Yeah, with some hot girls dancing or something. That will make me happy. Okay, now, here we go. Thank you for that, Gabriel Alexander. Sent us a nice list, a nice fat, thick list. I'm still going through it. Where did we leave off? Where did we leave off? Worship music. Next on the list. Fellowship with Jesus. Okay, fellowship with Jesus. Fellowship with Jesus. Once again, sounds like I'm making fun of people who have fellowship with Jesus. Jesus. Let me explain. There's a song, not probably a worship song, that says, and he walks with me and he talks with me. And it's like he walks with me and he talks with me. Really? What kind of drugs have you been taking? Jesus has not walked with or talked with anybody since the first century. If you're walking with Jesus, or you're talking with Jesus, get off the drugs, okay? Because Jesus doesn't do that anymore. And besides, what are we going to say when we're actually walking and talking with Jesus? Okay, it's like we're snatched away, we're in the celestial realm. Hey, I'm walking and talking with Jesus. Well, what's the big deal? You were doing that back in Eon 3. No, it was just a figure of speech then. Then why did you say it? Figure of speech? Now, we can meditate on Jesus. We can think upon his work. You can even, you can talk to him, I suppose. But the way some of these people carry on is they're actually walking and talking with him. And I walk with him and I talk with him. No, you don't. I'm sorry. I'm a literalist. I'm the mayor of Realville. I almost feel compelled to apologize to you for that. I know I'm making people mad right now. Fellowship with Jesus. And besides that, we don't fellowship with Jesus. We fellowship with Christ. Yes, we don't fellowship with the dusty Nazarene, the ex-carpenter who had no place to lay his head. We fellowship with the exalted Christ, the one who's at the right hand of God, the one who spoke to Paul. Now, Paul could say, I walk with him and I talk with him. The Apostle Paul could say that because he walked with him and he talked with him. Peter can say that. James can say it. The 500 who saw him after his resurrection can say it. You and me? No, we can't say it. Let's save it. It's a nice sentiment. Let's save it till we actually do walk with him and talk with him. I'm sorry. Walking with God. That's the same walking. It's the same deal. Walking with God. I'm walking with God. I get the concept. No, I get the concept behind these things. They're all figures of speech. But you see, if people introduced it that way, Martin, what I'm going to tell you is a figure of speech. It's not really true. I walk with Jesus and I talk with Jesus. Okay, I understand. Thanks for the preface. But if you don't lay the preface on me, I'm going to think you're on LSD. Okay, or you're doing some mushrooms out there. All right? I mean, God made mushrooms. I've never done hallucinogenic mushrooms. People have tempted me to do it. I've been tempted. Yes, I have. I mean, they're from God. This is my viewpoint on that. This is my viewpoint on mushrooms. Hallucinogenic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms, as they're called. I think they're of God. They grow out of the ground. God made this. God made marijuana. God made mushrooms. God made my kratom. God made caffeine. God made all this stuff. It's wonderful. I mean, not everything God made purely that grows out of the ground is good for you. Of course, it's not all good for you. Some of it's poison. But isn't it interesting that a certain mushroom will give you transcendent experience, make you see things? What's that? Hiawatha? Is that tea that the Indians take? Is that what it's called? Ayahuasca. Yeah. Haven't had that either. But apparently, it's really changed people's lives. Now, I know LSD changed the Beatles' lives, and we have some great songs because of it. But that's a different story. See, that's a laboratory product. That's a different thing. But mushrooms, okay. I just don't want to do it. I'm afraid I wouldn't get back to my right mind. That I fear that I won't be able to get back. That's the ultimate paranoia for me. But I believe that when these people are taking these things, I think God is giving them a window into something. I think it's a preview. Just like the orgasm is. It's a preview of something celestial and something wonderful. But you have to come back from it. Because I'm not saying it's illicit. It is licit. It's licit. Quite licit. But, well, you can do what you want. But as for me, I don't, like I said, I already explained it to you. I'm afraid I won't get back. But I believe God is giving people trips so that they get a view of maybe a little bit of a hint of the next world. And I got to admit, apparently, LSD does the same thing. Oh, there is a hilarious video. I'm going to link you to this down here. I got to say, LSD sounds wonderful. Absolutely great. When they first invented it back in the 50s, or maybe it was earlier, but they were testing it. And in this video I'm going to link you to, there's a woman in the 1950s. They interviewed this woman, and then she took LSD. They interviewed her before she ingested it and after she ingested it. It is hilarious. It is fantastic. This lady's tripping big time. The funny thing is, she's like this typical 50s housewife, as straight as can be, straight as an arrow. June Cleaver here. Picture June Cleaver or Mrs. Cunningham on LSD. Hilarious. Hilarious. Watch it. Link it down here right after yesterday's video, Salvation Free or Isn't It? All right. How am I doing? Not too good. Walking with God, all right, fellowshipping with Jesus kind of counts as that. Jesus is my rock. Boy, where does Gabriel come up with these things? Jesus is my rock. Jesus is my rock. See, I don't have a problem with that. It's obviously a metaphor. Jesus isn't a literal rock. Jesus is my rock. Oh, people get confused. And the rock was Christ. Remember in the desert, they carried that rock around that gave out the water. They milked the rock. And the rock was Christ, it says. That's a metaphor. Just like Jesus says, this is my body. The rock was not literally Christ, but it was metaphorically Christ. It was him in the sense that he would be the one who provided them living water. What did he say to the woman at the well? You take my teaching and you'll never thirst again. You'll never thirst again. I am the true living water. I am the source of all life. I am the true living water, living water. Water that comes out of nowhere. Magical water, mystical water. Give me that water. That's what the woman said. Give me that water. Well, when Messiah comes, this gives me the chills. This gives me the chills. The woman at the well. She says, I want this living water. When Messiah comes, he's the one shakes me up. The one who is speaking to you is he. Woman at the well. A Samaritan woman at that. A woman who had a dozen boyfriends. And Jesus pegged her on that. Go get your husband, he says. She's like, yeah, I know you've had a few husbands. The one you're living with is not your husband. And because of that, Jesus said, I'm not going to talk to you because you're a dirty sinner. Nope, he didn't say that. Not one sour word about the woman and her live-in boyfriend. Didn't say a thing about it. In fact, one of the few people in the area at that time to whom he revealed himself as the Messiah. I love her response. Jesus tells her these things. Yes, you've had 4 husbands or 5 husbands or whatever, and the guy you're with is not your husband. And instead of saying, oh my God, I can't believe you know that. How do you know that? I'm sorry, I'll fix everything. Instead of that, she goes, I see you're a prophet. She doesn't even admit to it. She doesn't have to. She goes, yeah, I don't know how you know this, but yeah, it's true. She goes, oh. She puts a positive spin on it and focuses it on him so that, hoping to God, it'll take the focus off of her. Oh, I see you're a prophet. Beautiful. That lady is great. Great. I can't wait to meet that woman. Yeah, she's an Israelite. Well, yes, the Samaritans were Israelites. They were from the northern tribes. They had a competing tabernacle. Remember when the nation was split? House of Israel, House of Judah. House of Israel went up to Samaria, and they had their own temple, 10 tribes up there. But the Judah, the big boys, and the Levites, they were down in Jerusalem. Well, those people hated the Samaritans. So anyway, that's why Jesus picked her. And a woman, to say that a woman, she's not even supposed to. Don't talk to a woman. The disciples came by and were shocked that he's talking to a woman. What's the matter with you guys? A little misogynistic maybe there, huh? Peter, James, John? Not too keen on the ladies? Well, wait do you see? Wait do you see what God does with the ladies in the next eon. It's going to be fantastic. How am I doing? Terrible. One more. Let's do one more. How many more? I'm not going to look ahead. I'm just going to kind of count. 1, 2, 3. There's about 6 more. Do I have time for this? Peace be with you. So I have no problem with Jesus as my rock, except I would replace Jesus with Christ. It's the Jesus thing that I object to. I don't mind that. Peace be with you. What? Okay. Peace be with you. At face value, I'm having trouble with this. On the face of this, it doesn't seem too bad to me. Peace be with you. I don't know what Gabriel's thinking here. Maybe he can tell us in the comments. But perhaps it is that God has already established peace. But still, this is really nitpicky. I'm going to give the Christians a pass on this. Peace be with you. I'm going to give them a pass on that. I like that phrase. I like it. especially if you accompany it with the famous sign from the 60s, peace be with you. I'm good with it. And on the heels of that statement, I exhort you to do it. Do it to each other. When you see each other, say, peace be with you. And then after that, go ahead and greet one another with a holy kiss. There's a phrase I don't mind at all.